when people hear the term anti-Semitism, they think that anti-Semitism is just another type of racism. It's just racism against Jews. So basically, it's hatred against Jews, specifically for being ethnically Jewish. But as we've seen, that's actually incomplete. Because you can claim all of the things anti-Semites actually claim. Right? Jews are cliquish or globalists or at the same time both or whatever, without technically hating Jews. And that's the game that is being played right now. This is why you see people who fall under an actual real definition of anti-Semitism, as I've laid it out, who get away with saying that they're fighting anti-Semitism. Right? You hear Ilhan Omar will say this sort of thing. Right? So these overbroad terms used by politicians actually become counterproductive. So, for example, you can say that Israel is the fountainhead of all evil without technically hating Jews. You could say that, right? You can even say you have a Jewish friend. That might not really be true, but you can say it, or you can find some Jewish person who actually has no connection with Judaism, and that person can be your stand-in. And this is the excuse that you'll hear from many of the people who say just this kind of stuff. And here's the problem with what Muriel Bowser and AOC and all these people are saying. It leaves open the possibility that so long as you talk about hatred of Israel and that results in people getting killed, it's totally fine. And that's the cover that many people who actually do hate Jews use, because it is in fact an easy cover. Say, oh, it's not about hatred of Jews. It's not about anti-Semitism. It's just about hatred of Israel. That's the game. So instead of focusing on whether people are doing and saying things because they hate Jews, what they feel inside, here's what we should do. We should instead have this conversation in the context of lies. We should be condemning lies. Now, it is quite possible that many of the lies that you're hearing, Israel's committing a genocide, are rooted in actual hatred of Jews. Or maybe it's rooted in some other philosophy. In some cases, we can probably read what people feel on their insides, but sometimes that's not the case, and often it's not even useful. Because people who actually hate Jews often just aren't going to come out and say it. And there's some who will. I point to Nick Fuentes for honesty, but most people don't actually say it, or Kanye West. At least they're honest. Most people may tweet pretty obvious Jew-hating garbage and then delete it, but they can always claim their perspective isn't rooted in hatred of Jews, per se. And all of that offers an easy off-ramp for those who actually build a permission structure for actual evil and murder. Instead of talking about anti-Semitism then, what we actually should do is we should talk about lies and the liars who tell those lies. Like, for example, it is a lie, as we discussed yesterday on the show, that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza. It is just a lie. There's not only no data to back it, there's significant data to disprove it. Now, maybe some people are too ignorant to know that it's a lie, and they're just repeating what they hear. Maybe they're just using the word genocide as a stand-in for bad thing. Or maybe they're just dumb. But for those who do know, it's a lie. It was a lie that the Palestinian cause is about a two-state solution. That's always been a lie. The Palestinians will tell you it's a lie. Now, again, maybe some people who are pushing it are too ignorant or hopeful to know that it's a lie, but it is a lie. And lies are bad. And the more they are told, the more dangerous they become. And that's why I think it's actually kind of useless at this point for politicians to talk about anti-Semitism and never the actual lies that matter. Because if we actually had an honest conversation about what actually drove the feelings of shootings like this, lies and more lies, then Muriel Bowser might have to call out the lies of her own side. Then perhaps AOC wouldn't just be able to invoke anti-Semitism and get off scot-free while simultaneously making room for Ilhan Omar. She might actually have to call out the lies of her own side. And that's the thing they will never do. At a certain point, invocation of terms like anti-Semitism, it actually becomes counterproductive. Because, again, if that doesn't do the job of stopping people from lying about Jews, then what exactly is the point of the thing? Instead, if we are going to talk about the permission structure that led to the murder of these two young people in Washington, D.C., we have to talk about the actual lies and the people who tell those lies and what their worldview is. That's the thing that actually allows us clarity. That allows us to see who is pushing what and why. And again, that's not me saying that none of the people who are pushing the lies hate Jews. Many of them, I'm sure, are not particularly fond of Jews or Judaism or anything like it. But it's a lot easier and more specific and more clarifying and more useful to talk about the lies themselves as opposed to a term like anti-Semitism, which again, at this point in time has now become so semantically overloaded that people are able to escape the implications of their own lies.